So, as we're going over parts of the renal system, um, I really want to focus on big trends, and I don't want you to get insane about memorizing anything. There's a couple of parts that you really will need to keep track of this time, um, but don't drive yourself batty trying to be um, as detailed as you would be if you were in a med school or a nursing class. Okay, big picture here, guys. That's what we need to do. And the first thing I really want to focus on is blood flow, because that's really, really important here. Um, if your kidneys are going to filter blood, they're going to have to see the blood, and they're going to have to see a heck of a lot of it. So remember, arteries take blood away from your heart, and veins take blood to your heart. And so if you looked at the initial little drawing, and you'll get to see pictures of it a little bit better later, renal arteries take blood to the kidneys. And those renal arteries are connected directly to the descending aorta. And that aorta should ring a bell because the aorta comes directly off the heart. Now, that aorta is arched off the heart and worked its way down, so they've lost some blood flow. But those renal arteries are connected directly to the biggest artery in your body. Um, so that means they see a lot of blood, and they actually see a fair amount of blood pressure too, and that's important. Um, your renal veins, which drain your kidneys, connect directly to your inferior vena cava. And we didn't go over veins in insane detail, but the inferior vena cava is the main vein that drains the lower half of your body and brings blood back to your heart and brings it to your right atrium. Oh, so your kidneys drain directly into the biggest vein in the lower half of your body. So this is all a way of saying, and your body's way of saying, is that your kidneys are really, really important. They need to see a lot of blood flow, and they need to get blood directly back into the heart to reestablish their blood into circulation. So the kidney then does the actual filtering of your blood, and it's filtering out, and we've talked a little bit about this before, is that your liver filters out food products and other types of toxins. Your kidneys do a lot of filtering of ions out of your blood, so things like sodium and potassium, but also do nitrogenous waste, so urea, ergo the name urine. Um, so uh, it filters out, you don't want to say dirty blood, but filters out certain substances from your blood, and then the clean stuff gets returned to you. And then the filtered stuff gets taken away from you. And so I will refer to this filtered stuff at first as filtrate. But when enough of it gets collected and gets taken away from your kidney, that filtrate is your urine. And eventually that filtrate gets taken from your kidney into your bladder, and then that gets eliminated from your body elsewhere in two parts unknown. So a couple major parts of your kidney. There's the renal cortex, which is the very outer part. There's the renal medulla and the renal pelvis. The renal cortex is the blood supply and the capillaries that supply the blood to get filtering, supply the blood for the filtering, I should say. And then the nephron that actually does the filtering sits between the cortex and the medulla. It's right on that interface between the two. It's actually considered part of the medulla, but it's, really right on the two. The renal medulla has, as the more inner part of the kidney, the blood supply passes through there, and the filtered blood leaves through there, and the filtrate gets collected into bigger and bigger tubes in the renal medulla as well. And so there's a lot of stuff entering and leaving through the medulla, and the renal pelvis is where the filtrate gets collected and leaves the kidneys as urine. And the tube that actually leaves the renal pelvis is your ureter. We'll pick up with part 3.